Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Brown Girl Realness. I'm your host, Utika Couch,
And I'm your co-host, Crystal.
and thank you again for joining us. And today's episode, it might step on some toes, including my own.
And mine.
Yeah. It's something that, we definitely need to be intentional about. And it's probably hard, some of the hardest things you have to do. And it may feel selfish at times, but it's about choosing yourself.
Yeah.
So
Why do you think choosing yourself is selfish? Why did you say that?
I think because, we give so much, right? Whether it's parenting, whether it's at work, whether it's our friends, someone always needs something
Yeah,
somewhere, some kind of way,
that's true.
somehow.
Yeah.
And even though we may be struggling to even maintain it for ourselves, we give that last little bit. It's like just giving that last little bit of yourself. And it's like, well, I'll deal with it. I can manage without it. And all along you're just really struggling trying to maintain so someone else can have. It's tough.
It is tough. What do you think is what are you giving up though to not choose yourself? Like, why does it have to feel so selfish? Like, because I know for me personally, I definitely have guilt about choosing myself,
Mhm.
and it doesn't always feel good,
Right.
but it's necessary. So
Why do you think it's necessary?
I don't think you could pour from an empty cup. So I think that we've always been taught to take care of this person, take care of that person. And then you have these titles, whether you're a wife, whether you're a mom, whether you're a daughter. But what about just being you to yourself?
I think some of us don't know what that means. We become parents at a
That's
young
very
age, marry at a young age, almost kind of like even how we're brought up as women. We play with Barbie dolls and we learn how to cook and we learn how
hmm
to clean the house. And that's the role that we're kind of
kind of
placed in.
accustomed to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the gender role. And so I feel like it's a natural response
Mm,
of giving and giving and giving. And like you said, you can't pour from an empty cup. I don't want to pour if my cup isn't even overflowing.
I agree with that.
So
I think that's important, as the
yeah.
kids say, clock that T, because I think you always hear that saying, you can't
Hmm.
pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You also shouldn't be pouring from a full cup either,
Nope.
because that's what's yours is in that cup and that's full.
Yep.
When it becomes overflowing, then
I
you
can
have room
give.
for everyone else. You
Yeah.
have room to give to something else. So
And some
I
people,
agree.
once they realize that you are willing, they whether it's intentionally
Yeah.
or
Always want
or
it.
always,
Always
it's
picking.
always something. And so it's almost like it removes the responsibility away from them.
Mm,
And it's like, when are you going to learn how to manage yourself and
exactly.
your lifestyle and whatever it is you have going on versus always, I'm not going to say taking, that's such a hard word, but
I mean,
always
there are a lot of
asking.
takers out there though.
Yeah.
So I think if you don't set the boundaries, because I think the boundaries go hand in hand with
Hmm.
choosing yourself, then it allows the takers to continue to take. And like you said, whether it's intentional or it's not, it's still taken.
It is,
It's
it
still,
is.
and it's exhausting.
And even though we still give, in the back of our minds and ourselves, it's like, damn, again, like again. Oh,
Or the question then
okay.
becomes, who gives to us? Like, who gives
Who fills our cup?
to the giver?
Who?
But whose responsibility is it to fill your cup?
It's you said it. It's my cup.
Correct.
But I also think that when you surround yourself around people who have your best interests, who are not takers,
Mm,
I think that fills your cup as well.
absolutely.
I mean, whether it's energy, whether it's love, whether it's support, all of that. And I've been experiencing a lot of that lately. And so, it's like, wow, that feels great that those things are being poured into me. However, on the other side, it's still somebody's over here knocking on the door like, "Hey, can you? Will you? I need." But it's
So
like
when do you not answer the door? At what point do you stop answering the door?
I haven't figured that out. I'm still working on it.
Who has the answer? Because
I,
I'm still the balance between choosing yourself and still having the responsibilities of the titles that you own, where do you find the balance in that?
It's kind of like I don't want to disappoint people. And I feel that if people can just speak up and say, I need this,
Mm.
that there's a true need. But we don't know that. I don't ask like, well, exactly what are you doing with my whatever, my time, my money, my energy? What exactly are you doing with it that you've dropped the ball? I mean, I know people deal with different circumstances and situations, and and if I have it to give, it's still right now, it's kind of like
Even
that.
even if you do have to give it, is it really your responsibility though?
It's
Like
not.
you said disappointing, you didn't want to disappoint the people. First of all, is there the people? Is there a list of who the people are? And it sounds like that's a fine line between people pleasing,
Mm.
which can also be exhausting if you don't have any boundaries
I,
set up.
I think most of it maybe like the kids, your family, some close friends. I'm not saying just some stranger out here on the
Okay,
street who's begging, that every morning at 6:30 a.m.
got you.
But we're talking about loved ones who always have a need of you. And it's like, well, you always do it. It doesn't make it
Right.
right. So
So when does
so we've created an expectation that just because I was able to do it this time and then the next time and then the next time, like, it's hard to kinda
And what
it's
happens when they get upset when you say no? No is a complete sentence to me. I think that goes hand in hand with the boundaries. It goes hand in hand with the cup being
yeah.
overflowing. It goes hand in hand with choosing yourself.
Mhm.
So how do you deal with when you do choose yourself? How do you deal with the people who aren't okay with that?
I don't know, because I don't I think I personally, I use the word no. I don't like the word no personally. So,
I don't
because
either.
I don't like it, I don't normally say it either.
Okay, that's
And that's
fair.
probably the biggest problem is me learning that. My best friends have always told me like, you really need to learn how to say
I
no
know.
because it is not my responsibility. But it's really hard, and I be in my feelings, you tell me no. Like the end of the
I think
world
that's a
is the
natural
end of the world is here if you tell me no.
now,
That's
sis.
the end
Sis,
of
you're
the
being
world is
dramatic.
near.
You're being dramatic.
No,
But
that's
where
how I feel.
but that's fair,
Mhm.
seriously. That's a valid feeling, and because that's how you feel when you're
Mhm.
told no,
Yeah.
of course you don't want anyone else to feel that way.
Right.
But I think that the people in your life that are okay with the boundaries or the no's or the choosing yourself, the ones that aren't are the
Mhm.
ones who are taking advantage
Probably.
of your, "Okay, I'll do it."
Probably.
So where do you find the balance?
I
Where do
haven't
you
found
start?
it yet. I'm still searching.
I'm
I'm still searching.
Well, okay,
Searching.
okay. So what's the first step? You acknowledge that people pleasing is probably high on the list of things you need to work on.
Huh? Oh,
Ain't no, huh?
I
You heard me.
the jury's out.
Okay. Sure.
The jury's out. That I the jury's out.
That's
I
fair.
I don't I don't know the
And you know
answer.
what? You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, the older I get, the easier it is for me to say, I ain't doing it. Get somebody else to do it. Find something safe to do. Your lack of planning
Mhm.
is not an emergency on
Yeah.
my part. So, like, I think that there's definitely a priority list of
Yeah.
who gets the yes
Who gets
and who gets the no. But at some point, saying
even
yes is
I
tiring.
think that priority list sometimes are the they drain you.
Absolutely.
It's the priority list, and it is unfair. I just had a thought, but it just ran from me. Um it's almost like even if you're not asked directly and you feel like you can do something,
Mm.
it feels like it's directed at you. And well, I think I saw a episode on Judge Mathis. He called it dry begging,
Mm.
to where you're not asking
I do my
directly,
mama like that.
but but you're in a
I ain't gonna lie.
position that you can help. And so instead of saying, "Hey, Utica," or "Hey, Crystal,"
Can you?
I need this. I'm
Yeah.
short on this. Can you help with this? And then it is like, damn, I don't want to, I mean, this, this is, my friend or this is my family and I can really help them.
But You don't want to.
But
What's
you
wrong?
do.
But what's wrong? But do you really?
I
Do you really?
don't me there. Woo!
I mean, I'm just saying.
It's just a difficult place, right? Like, people pleasing, I think it's
Absolutely.
an unintentional
Uh,
task.
yeah,
It,
I agree with
it's
that.
unintentional, and you don't even recognize
Yes.
it as being a people pleaser.
Mhm.
And it can be in specific areas, at work, at home, with your friends. I mean, at church. It could be like, this is an expectation of what
'Cause then it
people see
does, yeah.
because this has been the response every single
Yeah,
time.
and it
You
does
you
become an
make
expectation.
yeah, you make time, you clear your calendar like, "Oh, well, such and such called. I guess I gotta go. I gotta do," and
I used to be that way, I promise I did, and I'll say there are levels to it because while I don't think I'm 100% free from people pleasing, I do believe that for me, it's a lot easier to say, "I'm not. Mm-mm. No." My mom always tells me, "I knew you was gonna say no," and I'm like, I
yeah,
don't feel like I owe an explanation if I don't want to do it. If I feel like the vibe is off, if I feel like you're taking advantage of me,
right.
if I feel like you don't appreciate it,
Yeah.
if you're nowhere to be found when I have a need, that is going to turn into a no real fast.
And the need exceeds financial and all that.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah,
It
definitely.
could be just you dumping a mental
Yes,
dump.
absolutely.
And,
And you feel better. You've left me with this trash.
yeah,
And now you're like, whoo. And I'm looking around like, nah, I was fine before I talked to this person. So,
right.
so you're right. It definitely goes far beyond the financial
Yeah,
aspect. I,
especially like in our roles at our work roles where there is, the mental dump of not just work stuff, but you build relationships with people.
when you lead people,
Yeah,
it definitely you
you,
become their counselor, their
mhm,
financial
mhm,
advisor.
everything.
You become everything. So you do, yeah.
Until you're not, then you become something else. But it's a lot to own,
I think so. I agree
and
with
I
that.
think that's the hard part because you take ownership of that where they're lollygagging, booty dragging. Did I say it
Lolly,
right?
lolly,
Lollygagging, booty
lollygagging,
dragging
booty dragging. That's my mama said.
around. They're living life, and we're left over here holding the trauma, holding the baggage, holding all of that in, and like, what am I supposed to do with it? What am I supposed to do with it? And then next thing you know, you're calling your friends and dumping it on them.
Yeah,
So it's just piling
it's a
up.
domino effect, and
It's
becomes, and then your friends be like, "Honey, I ain't finna keep answering the phone for you."
yeah, man.
I mean, I think that's a listen, we could probably talk all day about this because the ultimate thing is that as a person,
Mhm.
you want to be able to help people.
Right.
But there comes a time where you have to say, I can't not do that today.
I don't have
I
the
don't have
mental
the mental
capacity.
capacity. Yep.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. I don't have it.
And you shouldn't feel guilty.
That
Now,
part.
I will say I have done that. I just can't do it. I don't have it. I can't hold it. I can't function at the state I'm in right now. I need a break, and I just don't have the mental capacity to do what you're asking me to do. And then there's the questions like, well, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with her? Well, now she's not a team
Or
player.
yeah,
Or
or
now,
she thinks she too good,
yeah,
or
yeah.
but then it goes back to the people who have an issue with you saying no or choosing yourself. They benefited from your lack of boundaries the
Mm-hmm.
whole time. Because how did you abandon yourself,
Yes.
your needs, your thoughts to help this person
Mm-hmm.
without a second thought? And their issue is, well, dang, she told me no this time. The
The
audacity.
audacity. How dare
How
you?
dare you tell me no?
Mhm.
So how about you need more no's? So I'm just going, yeah,
That was a good start. A
yeah,
good start, and let's continue. Let's see how that works.
yeah.
Hmm.
I agree with that. No, I was always taught no is a complete sentence
It is.
and it is anointed
Period.
and it requires no explanation. So I think choosing yourself, while it can be difficult, it
Hmm.
can feel selfish, it can come with some guilt. It is necessary.
I agree. I definitely agree with the idea of choosing yourself. And I just think it takes a lot of us a little bit longer to
And there's
get
nothing wrong with
there.
that.
And it doesn't mean that we are not aware that we need to put ourselves
Correct.
first. It's just the matter of taking that first step.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the courage and confidence, because there is a little bit of intimidation, I
Hmm.
guess you could say, or a little bit of resolve as far as like,
Especially if you're always used to saying yes or
yeah.
being that person. You don't wanna be the bad person all of a sudden, but sometimes you have to.
And I think for me, again, it's because I don't want you to tell me no. So let me see how I can figure out how to make this happen.
Mm.
And the problem with that is that I hardly ever ask for a yes. That's the crazy thing.
But if my yes did not warrant an explanation, why should my no warrant one?
I don't have the answer for that. It's good brain food. It's good.
Yeah.
It's something to think
I'm just
about for
saying,
sure.
there's something to think about as you go about your week and you come across that person that has the audacity to be upset because you said, I can't do this.
Mhm.
What is it costing you to say yes? And if your yes didn't garner a explanation, then your no shouldn't either.
Yeah, absolutely shouldn't. I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. I think it's just something to think about. I think it's become so norm for us to want to please people, want to make people happy, want to say yes, that sometimes it just becomes a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
But you take the first step and that the second one gets a little easier, the third one gets a little easier.
Well, I think the situations change
That too.
yeah, the first, second one does become a little easier. However, you can fall right back into that cycle
Yeah.
of no's again. Again, depending on who it is, what the need is of you. And, I think I had a conversation with my son one time and it was like, and it was something simple like, you know, you asked me for all of these things, but I was like, but you never asked me how I'm doing.
Mm.
And the response is, well, you always say you're okay. How
That's a whole nother
how are you
topic.
supposed to know the
Listen,
difference
that
in whether or not if you continue to put yourself in an okay place, I'm going to continue to take from you because I don't know this space that
yep.
you're in that you can't really and should tell me no
Mhm.
versus you just saying, you know what? It's not a good time. Maybe I shouldn't have done that versus, hey, I need. Can you give? Why not?
Yeah.
So that type of thing. So you have to stand in your truth.
Yes.
And instead of the
And
okays, and
communicate
yeah.
that I like you said earlier, I don't have the mental capacity
Mm.
to do that. I think that like you said, your son said, well, you're always okay.
Uh-huh.
So then that I mean is a whole nother probably episode because now you've given that responsibility of I'm okay or I'm not okay to somebody else because they have
Right.
to figure it out.
Mhm.
And now you feel some type of way because you're like, you don't never ask me how I'm doing. Well, you always say you okay, so why should I?
So what does this look like as it relates to friendships
Mm,
and relationships? Always being the giver, always showing up for your friends,
I think
always responding to your friends, and you get nothing in
if
return.
if that is the situation that you're in, it is time for you to reevaluate your friendship circle. I do not think that you should be the only strong person in the group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should be the only giver in the group. I don't think you should be the only fixer in the group.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself in that place, it may be time to do a hard look at the people around you. And there will be nothing wrong with you saying, it don't take away the fact that you love them, you care about them,
Mhm.
but you know what? This relationship is no longer
Serving me.
serving me what I need it to be.
Yeah.
And that's that.
So,
So,
because it is unfair for a person to only show up when they have a need of you,
yep.
and versus when those around them continues to extend continue to stand an arm of welcome or
Yep.
whatever, like, hey, I'm reaching out, and there's never a response back, or there's always an excuse as to why you can't do something. There's always something that happens or
The
comes up,
excuses.
and I understand that life happens,
Life. It do
but
happen. Life be life.
day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year,
Yeah.
maybe it's time to move on.
Especially
And
if you have those people they always got life going on. Like, what? This is exhausting. Every time I talk to you, something is going on. Like,
you might need to reevaluate your
listen,
life.
I'm not gonna be able to do this.
What did you do to God?
Listen, because
What you
this
do
is
to
sucking the life out of me. So I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be able to do this. I love you, but I'm gonna have to, yeah.
It's time to make an exit.
Because what happened?
Yeah.
That you ain't got nothing positive. The fact that you woke up this morning wasn't enough to say thank you, God.
Those evil.
So yeah, choosing yourself may look like changing the dynamics of a relationship or friendship.
And on the flip side of that, maybe that person feels like they're not being fulfilled with the group. So it could be opposite, and then they just show up sporadically whenever. It serves, but it only suits them when they show up.
That's interesting.
And it's real life stuff. I mean,
because they're not being fulfilled by the group. That's yeah.
and it's okay to move on.
It is perfectly okay. I don't know why people make it awkward, why they make it a problem. It is okay to say, you know what, I love you, but this is not serving me
Not
anymore.
giving me what
And I don't
need.
think it's serving you in all fairness.
Mhm.
So it's okay. We don't,
Yeah.
yeah, it is okay.
I mean, the same as relationships. Like if you think you're in a committed relationship, but you're the only person putting out, and you're not. I mean, not to say you need to get what you put out in return, but it's a give and take.
Well, I
A
think,
relationship
listen, I
takes
think
two people.
relationships should be reciprocal. I don't care what
Yeah.
type it is.
Mhm.
So that's a whole, again, that's a whole nother episode we might have to get into
Mhm.
because I'm not with the take.
Nope.
I'm not with that.
What you given.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay to choose yourself again in all of these situations, in all of these scenarios. And you have to recognize that you are overextending yourself, your stay, your welcome, your friendships, your love life, your family. It's okay to say no.
Absolutely.
For me, for you, for the
Absolutely.
next person, it is okay to say no. And you have to be okay with that. And move on and continue to live your life. Find a community that embraces you and loves you
Find
and
your
wants to
people.
support you.
Find your
They're out
village.
there.
Find your people. They're out there. You do not have to settle. Choose yourself. And that may look like changing up the dynamics of what has become your norm.
Because we outgrow people.
Absolutely.
And because that's what we do in life, we grow and we find things that interest us before no longer sits well with us, and we move forward. And so we find our circle.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's okay to choose you. You should not feel bad about that at all. At all. Any closing things you want to say to the people?
No, I just think that it's time to choose yourself. Like with no apology, with your full authentic self, figure out what that looks like for you. And don't feel guilty about it.
Absolutely. Again, choose you.
Yep. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to outgrow. You are allowed to choose yourself without explaining. Choose yourself. Choose them. Tell you, choose yourself. You'll feel better. It'll be like a weight lifted off of you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And be consistent. And don't just
stand in your
just
truth.
don't stop there. Just stay with it.
Yeah.
Stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay with it. It's about learning and knowing and exploring who it is that you are. And
Absolutely.
that can be hard.
Absolutely.
Because some people don't recognize that this is what I've been doing. Lord, they've been taking advantage of me all this time.
And when the light bulb comes on, you're going to be like, God, is that really how this is supposed to go? Is that, yeah.
This is how they viewed
becomes-
me all this time.
Yep.
Because when you look back and you reflect on those relationships that you had or have, then you can recognize, like, wait a minute, there was no value adding anyway.
The value.
But I
Come
was
on now,
always
sis.
available.
Come on, sis. The
During their
value.
time of need, their need of me, I'm always available. But when the tables were turned, they were nowhere to be found. Choose you, friends. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of Choosing You.
Yep.
We'll see you again soon.
Next
Thanks for
episode of Brown
joining.
Girl Realness.
Bye.